Chapter 7. The Calm and the Crack. The morning broke with a strange, fragile quiet. Smoke drifted across the yard, thin as mist, curling off shattered barricades and burned-out drones. The smell of scorched steel and ozone still hung thick in the air, mixed with the faint copper tang of blood that hadn't yet washed away. The storm that had battered them 2 nights before was long gone, but it had left behind the same feeling. A stillness so tense it felt like the world was holding its breath. Captain Reeve walked the perimeter before sunrise, boots crunching through gravel and broken glass, rifle slung but ready. His armor was dust-streaked and cracked across one shoulder plate. The medics had patched it with epoxy until proper repairs could be made. He moved in silence, eyes scanning the horizon where the light was just starting to spill over the ridges, pale gold through a haze of dust. The outpost felt smaller now. Too many gaps in the walls, too many empty bunks. Lieutenant Mara joined him halfway round. She carried her helmet under her arm, dark hair tied back, eyes sharp and bloodshot from lack of sleep. "Reeve," she greeted, voice low but steady. He nodded. "You sleep?" "Half an hour. Maybe." Luxury. They stopped by the west barricade, where the plating had been torn open. Engineers worked quietly, welding a fresh sheet over the gap. Sparks jumped in the air, bright against the morning gloom. Reeve crouched, tracing the ground with a gloved hand. The soil had been churned deep by claws, 6-point tracks, sharp-edged, like someone had pressed knives into the earth. But they didn't come close this time. They'd circled, tested, and pulled back. "They're learning," he murmured. Mara followed his gaze. "You think they're adapting?" He nodded. "They hit the same sector as last time, but they stopped short. They're watching us, measuring the response." She frowned, calculating. "Then we need to change the pattern before they do. I'll move second squad to the northern ridge. They'll get a wider sightline from there. Lennox can run point." "Good," Reeve said. He stood, dusted his gloves. "Let's make the rest of the day count. We might not get another quiet one." By midday, the base hummed with exhausted purpose. Engineers replaced plating and recalibrated motion sensors. Gunners cleaned weapons under the harsh light of the twin suns. The mess hall served instant coffee and cold rations. No one complained. Corporal Lennox leaned against a crate near the comms shack, chewing on a protein bar that had the consistency of sandpaper. "You ever think we're just building them better cover?" he asked Private Weller, who was tightening bolts on a turret nearby. Weller grunted. "You want to dig the trenches again? Be my guest." "Nah, I'm good. Wouldn't want to mess up your artistry, mate." Mara passed by, datapad in hand. "Corporal, less poetry, more perimeter." "Yes, ma'am," Lennox said, snapping a mock salute. When she'd gone, he muttered to Weller, "You ever notice she says everything like it's a chess move? She's the only one who knows what the board looks like." "Fair point." Lennox finished the bar, grimaced. "Tastes like compressed regret." Reeve and Mara spent most of the afternoon in the command room, a metal box reinforced with sandbags and sensor cables. The main screen flickered with radar sweeps and heat maps of the surrounding valley. Mara pointed to one feed, a drone view of the eastern approach. "Look here. Last night's contact zone. We had 12 heat signatures. This morning, none now. No movement, no trails." Reeve frowned. They didn't just vanish. No, they went underground again. Or they're waiting. A pause. Both knew what that meant. They'd be hit again, and soon. The quiet wasn't peace. It was preparation. Reeve turned to another display. The ammo readouts. Supplies were low. Too low. 212 mags left total. 42 for the heavy gun. That's not enough to hold the remaining 6 days. Mara exhaled through her nose. Then we don't hold. We adapt. Start rationing rounds. Make traps, pressure detonators, tripwires. Anything that slows them down. Reeve nodded slowly. Get Lennox to start on that. He's creative with explosives when he's in a mood. Evening crept in fast. The twin suns bled into the horizon, staining the sky a deep, dirty red. Shadows stretched across the outpost, turning the wreckage into jagged silhouettes. Lennox and 2 others worked along the southern wall, stringing lines of homemade charges along the trench. Each one was cobbled together from spare grenades, wiring, and scavenged components. He hummed to himself as he worked, off-key, something from home that didn't belong in a place like this. "You really think this'll work?" Private Tull asked. Lennox glanced up, smirking. "If it doesn't, at least it'll look impressive when it all goes to hell." Comforting. "Hey, I aim to please." They finished the last set of charges just as night fell. Lennox wiped his hands on his armor, looking out toward the darkening hills. The valley beyond was silent, too silent. He frowned. "You hear that?" Tull listened. "Hear what?" "Exactly." By 2200 hours, the camp had settled into uneasy quiet. Most of the squad was asleep or pretending to be. The night watch manned their posts, scanning the black horizon through scope and thermal. The wind hissed across the walls, carrying dust and fragments of old ash. Inside the command room, Reeve stood over the hollow table while Mara ran diagnostics on the motion sensors. "Still nothing," she said. "Not a blip in 2 hours." Reeve rubbed his jaw. "They're out there. They don't just stop. Maybe the last wave scared them off." He shot her a look. "You believe that?" "No." "Good." They shared a silent moment, the hum of the equipment filling the space. Reeve poured 2 cups of instant coffee from a tin and handed one to her. It tasted like rust and mud, but it was hot. Mara took a sip, winced slightly. "Remind me to requisition better coffee if we ever get off this rock." "You plan on surviving that long?" "I don't plan on dying here." Reeve gave a faint, tired smile. "That's the spirit." Outside, the wind shifted. A low vibration rippled through the dirt, faint, almost imagined. One of the motion sensors on the north ridge flickered once, then went dark. Lennox, manning the overwatch tower, noticed the blip on his wrist display. He frowned, tapped the screen. "Oi, command, Tower 1 here. You seeing that drop on Ridge North?" Mara's voice came through the comm, calm but alert. "Negative. Reading stable on our end." It just blinked out. Might be the wind, or something crawling. "Hold position, Corporal. Reboot the sensor if you can." "On it." He leaned over the console, flicking the reset switch. The screen flickered, static rippling across it, then came back online, but the feed was black. No video, no heat, just darkness. "Reeve," Lennox said quietly into his comm. "You might want to take a look at this. Talk to me." "I've got nothing. No image. Like something's blocking the lens." "Blocked how?" "Like something's standing in front of it." A pause. The line crackled. Then, from the speaker, came a faint sound. A rhythmic thud. Slow, heavy, getting closer. Lennox froze, eyes narrowing at the console. "Oh, bollocks!" He swung his rifle around and looked out through the viewport, scanning the ridge. Nothing but black. Then, movement. A shape, shifting, just beyond the floodlights' reach. "Contact North Ridge!" he barked. Klaxons blared through the camp. Soldiers jolted awake, scrambling for weapons. Floodlights snapped on, bathing the perimeter in harsh white light. Reeve and Mara burst from the command room, helmets on, rifles up. "Positions!" Reeve shouted. "Eyes on the north!" The lights cut across the valley, but there was nothing. Just dust, swirling. The ridge stood empty. Lennox climbed down from the tower, breath misting inside his helmet. "Swear I saw movement," he said. "Something big, then gone." Reeve's gaze swept the shadows. "They're testing us again." Mara adjusted her rifle. "Then they're getting bolder." The wind carried a low, distant sound through the valley, like stones grinding deep underground. Everyone went still, listening. The noise faded. Then silence again. Reeve's voice was low, grim. "Double watches. No one sleeps." Lennox looked at him, jaw tight. "You think they'll hit tonight?" Reeve scanned the horizon one last time. The floodlights flickered once, just once, as if something massive had passed between them and the ridge. He didn't answer. The quiet held for the rest of the night, but it wasn't peace anymore. It was a heartbeat before the strike. There is always a story to be told out here in the frontier, as long as there is someone to listen, like, and subscribe, and join us again for more.